Okay, now let's talk a little bit about our actual operations that we're going to do when we're in a precinct. First thing we got to do is we've got to plan our operation, whether it's a walk, whether it's an event. So first, marshal your resources. You want to obtain any lists, particularly when you're doing precinct work. You want to obtain the lists you're going to use for the particular operation. You want to round up any clipboards and print out any maps that are necessary. You want to print out any literature, any forms that you need, forms such as the ones you use to take information, that your walkers are going to take information for later entry into the database. Any literature that you're going to hand out, give out, or take to doors. Next, divide and conquer. You want to brief your block captains and you want to get your walk teams assigned and ready to go. You want to divide up in the precinct into walkable sections. Typically those block captain sections are a great way to do it. Then you want to set a time and just get it done. Get her done. First, meet for a pre-walk briefing. This is critical. We used to meet in a donut shop in a section in Garland before we had our walks, and the donut shop meetings were excellent. Everybody get a chance to get a coffee, eat a donut, get the blood sugar up. We'd hand out the walk packets, we'd hand out the lists. Also, we would invite local candidates, particularly some of those disadvantaged candidates, like judicial candidates, to come in and address the group for no more than 5 minutes. So when you do that, your precinct will get the reputation of being a precinct that's getting things done. Candidates will start to get visibility, you'll get a county party visibility, and that will help you in your efforts to organize and promote your precinct. Now, after your pre-walk briefing, what you want to do is you want to make sure that each team has waters and snacks. You give them water bottles and snacks, and if it's a big walk through several hours, not just a 1 or 2 hour walk, but a 3, 4, 5 hour walk, and you have multiple teams out in the field, you can get an individual or volunteer could drive around in a pickup truck with a cooler to drive around those areas that are being walked, to make sure people have their water, make sure people have their snacks, and to pick up the occasional person that needs to go find the restroom. Now, why is that important? Because if they have to go get all the way back to their car, drive home to use the restroom, they will probably not come back. So if you want to keep your teams in the field, this is one of the things. Make sure they're watered, make sure they're serviced, make sure they have all their needs met, and they will stay out in the field and get the job done. Okay, you've got to also make sure that you've set a place and a time to collect the results when you're done. If you don't collect those results, all is lost. The whole purpose of any precinct activity, be it a walk or a literature delivery or a get out the vote activity, is to make sure you get the results so they're usable. Then go out and execute the walk. Get it done, get the people out in the field, and then collect and tabulate those results from that set place and time. Everything hangs upon this. If you don't collect the results, what are we doing here? This is what allows us to find out what our next phase of our project is going to be, or if it's a get out the vote activity, it helps us identify the people that we're going to work to get out the vote, and it helps us get those our leadership team in the precinct knowing the status of what's going on with that precinct. On election day even, it's important to collect and tabulate results because you want to know who's already voted so you don't keep calling the same people over and over again. Because what you want to do is you want to get these people into the precinct polling place so they can get out there and vote for our candidates. Okay, precinct paperwork. After the canvassing, you want to collect any canvassing sheets, that's any of the data sheets, the log sheets that are on the clipboards that the teams are carrying around with them. You want to make sure that data gets entered into a database, or you forward it to the campaign you're volunteering for. You may be doing your precinct's work on behalf of some campaign. You want to mark up any master map to track the areas that you've worked on a canvassing operation. Now, on a literature drop, it's very similar. This time you want to collect up all unused literature for later use. Waste not. Also, don't litter. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later. Now, mark the master map to track the areas worked just like you did on the canvassing. You want to know where you put literature because it annoys people to put the same literature out over and over again in the same houses. Okay, take any unused literature and you want to return that to the campaign if you're working for a campaign or to your precinct chairman, and then drop the report and the drop that report off to where it belongs. Now, in a meet and greet, there are a few other slightly different things you have to do. First off, you want to make sure you have a sign-up sheet. You want to enter that sign-up sheet into the prospects database. Anyone who comes to a meet and greet is fair game for you to contact later to see what their affiliation and interest is. You also want to keep a sheet for volunteers where people can sign up saying, hey, I'm motivated, I'm excited, this organizational meeting or this meet and greet has really pumped me up, and I want to do something. Well, make sure they sign up in that volunteer sheet and get them into that volunteer database so you know who to call when it comes times for walks and phone banks and other things. Finally, you want to account for all donations. Be very, very careful with the money. The minute you start collecting money, you start running into all kinds of laws. So be sure you're aware of the campaign finance laws and the political organization laws in your jurisdiction. Okay, some things not to do. Never argue at the door. Just give your pitch. Thank angry people for their time and leave. Don't bother arguing with them. Never ask for money at the door. If you're going door to door doing precinct work and you're asking for money at the door, suddenly those no solicitor signs that didn't apply to you, now they do apply to you. The minute you start collecting Federal Reserve notes, that solicitation ordinance pops into play. Also, any licensing requirements or that all pop into play when you start asking for money. So I say never ask for money at the door. If someone offers you money at the door, just direct them to where the fundraising function or office is of your party or your group, or give them a post office box where they can mail it. So, don't turn down donations, but don't collect them at the door. Next, never neglect personal hygiene and dress. You want to dress nicely. It's got to be for moderate activity, like you're playing a good round of golf. Golf shirts, comfortable slacks, or a comfortable dress for the ladies. Don't neglect your feet. Clean, comfortable walking shoes. Arch support and ankle support are also a plus. And never, never, never leave literature in a mailbox. That is a federal crime. Our opponents may get away with that, but we don't get away with federal crimes. It seems for some reason only the other side does. Okay, some canvassing tips. Make sure you get the right information when you're out there. Get names, phone numbers, and email. I'm surprised how many people will give you your email if you just simply ask them for it. Say, hey, can we have some information, way we can get in contact with you to tell you other events or other things that are going on. And it's astonishing. Many people will indeed give you their email or their phone numbers. Make sure find out if they're favorable, not favorable, undecided. See if they're really interested. Make sure see if they want to be a yard sign location, if they want to volunteer work, if they want to use their house as a meet and greet location. Okay, next. You want to find out what their top issues are, main complaints, principal desires. Take the pulse of your precinct, and those you can tailor questions to do that. Ask
one thing on that. The slide says top issue.
Yes.
But really, we want maybe 3 of them. The
Sure.
number 1, number 2, number 3.
Sure. And then a lot of times it'll be things like illegal immigration, and taxes, or something like that.
I got it.
Okay. Ask for commitment, go for closure. It's very much like sales, though it's not sales. Ask people for their vote and support. Come and say, will you support my candidate? My candidate is an excellent candidate. Will you vote for him in the coming election? And if they say, well, I'm kind of undecided, I don't really know, okay, say, hey, ask the undecided for fair-minded consideration. Get a commitment. If they won't commit to supporting your candidate or voting for your candidate, ask them, say, will you give me fair-minded consideration for my candidate? Everybody likes to be thought to be fair-minded, so be certain to ask for that. Bring the kids. Kids are disarming. It's excellent. Do no harm. Don't damage doors, placing literature. Make sure the literature you put out doesn't become litter. Be friendly, neighborly. Keep it short, like I haven't done here. And respect the grass. Keep to the sidewalks. We are a pro-property rights movement after all. The rewards, you'll get to know your neighbors. You'll know that you have done something at the end of the day. When people take up their precincts, liberty advances. When we neglect our precincts, liberty is in danger. And you might discover as you go through this that you have a political calling on your life. And if you do, then we need you to run for office because we need good grassroots people running for these offices. Now, if you want more information or to find this PowerPoint presentation, it's going to be on www.theirvingrepublicanclub.com. And you'll navigate down to the news section and you'll be able to find this. You can also contact me, Randy Dunning, at randy@randydunning.com if you want this or any of the other Grassroots Academy presentations that I put on. Thank you very much for your time. You've been a great audience.